Hello folks. Today I wanted to make a video showing how you could use Google AppsScript and a Google form to automatically add audience responses to the end of your presentation. So let's see what I mean by that. Let's say you have a presentation, you're going to go through it with your audience, you're going to go through, do your talk, explain what you're doing. And then you're going to get down to a certain point where you want to hear what your audience might want to add and be able to share that on your slideshow. So what I have here is a QR code that the audience could take a picture of, or use their phones to open up the Google form that this QR code is attached to, fill out the form, and their responses would show up on your slideshow. So let's see, I have the form that we're using, two simple questions, name and answer, and I have it ready for me to take. Let's go ahead and take that. So an audience member, let's say, George, goes ahead and responds. He says, I think so, whatever, hopefully something more than that. But let me just show you as an example, and I come back right away and take a look here, and you'll see over on my slideshow, George, I think so, blah, blah, blah. So you could push this out and all your audiences could respond. So let's see how we build this. So first of all, we have the form, and what we need to do with the form is add an AppsScript to it. And then inside the AppsScript, we need to find a few things. We'll go over that as we get started. So when you're in your form, and this is the editing part of your form, you're going to come to the three dots and you're going to open up your script editor. And in this example, I've already built the script editor, but I've gotten rid of everything so we could start from scratch. So working in AppsScript, we're going to write a function, and the function is going to be, I'll call it audience response. And this is a audience response. I've mistyped all of that, response. So what we want to do here, and this is an example of an on-edit script, so I'm going to use a special character E, and then we're going to go ahead and put in our start curly quote of our function. I'll give us some space, and we'll start to write the function. So the first thing that we need is a const, and I'm going to do a const, and it's going to be, I'll call it open presentation, and it could be called anything, but I'm going to call it open presentation. And then that const is going to be equal to, I'm going to use the slides app, and notice these, you can autofill out a lot of these. Slides app.open by ID. We could probably open it by URL, but I'm using the open by ID. And then what we need to do is we need to find the ID of our slide. So I'm going to come back over to my slide window, and you'll see that I have my docs.google.com/presentation/D. So my ID of my slide is all of this up into the /edit. So I'll just grab that and copy it, come back here to my script and go ahead and paste. So now I have a way to open up the actual presentation. So then my next const is going to be an audience slide. And what I want to do here is I want to, I'm just calling this audience slide, it's going to be equal to open presentation. So I'm going to work with what I've already set up there, dot get slide by ID, and I can see that one's right there. And the slide that I'm going to need to get, again, I have to come back to my presentation, and I have to come down here and take a look at this slide that is my presentation slide for what I'm going to use as the template, and it's going to be all of this ID dot. I'm going to copy that. You can see it's a little bit careful to work with that, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that in there. So now I have the slide presentation. I've opened the slide presentation. I've gotten the actual slide that we want. I'm going to make a const, and I'm going to call it new slide, and that's going to be equal to audience slide dot duplicate, and that's going to give me, it's good practice to end every statement with a semicolon, so let me go back and do that. So we have a new slide. The new slide is going to be audience slide dot duplicate. I'm going to make a duplicate of that slide. My next const is going to be new slide ID, because I need to grab the ID, and that's going to be equal to new slide, which we've just defined, dot get object ID. And that's going to give us the object ID, or basically the ID of the new slide, or the ID of the new slide that we've just created. And let's go ahead and put in our semicolon. And then we're going to use a var statement. We're going to do var items, and the items are equal to e dot response that one's not autofilling, but e dot response dot get items, get item responses, and we'll go ahead and hit that. Var items e dot response dot get item responses, and then we're going to put in another const, and this const is going to be, I'll call it change slide, and this one is going to be equal to open presentation dot get slides by ID, get slide by ID, and the ID that we're going to use is my new slide ID. And we'll finish that out. So we have gotten the presentation, we've gotten the ID of the slide, we've duplicated the slide, we've gotten the ID of the new duplicated slide, and now we're going back and getting the items that we are pulling from the responses from the form. Remember, this is the actual form that we're doing this on. And then what we're going to do is take this change slide dot replace all text, and what we're going to replace the text with, we're going to look for the word name, which is on the slide, and then let's see, we got to get here, and then we want to put a comma, and then we're going to replace it with items dot, let's see, it's going to be the items, it's going to be the first item up, that's going to be a square bracket, is 0. We're going to replace it with items 0 dot get response, get response, and then we're going to grab that. So we're basically saying to replace the word name with the response in the first question of the form. And we'll do the same thing, make it a little faster. I think I'll just go ahead and copy this and come here and paste and change this from the first position of the information to the second position of the information. And let's go ahead and save our script. Put another space in here and hit save. Now, when you want this to run on a form submit, we have to come here to our triggers. And I've already done this, but you can see, I'll just edit this. We're taking this function, audience response, and we're going to run it from the form on form submit. So that's a step that you have to add. I had already done that step. Go ahead and save. And let's come back, just double check our script. I think it looks good. Let's see what happens if we give it a shot. So let's come back and take a look here. And we can see we have George, and let's go ahead and add a new response from the audience. Let's say Tom. And go ahead and submit. Let's see if it's working. And there we go. And notice that Tom's comes in right above George's. So every time the most recent answers are going to come in. So now as the presenter, notice these are hidden in my slideshow, and if I was in present mode, I wouldn't be seeing these slides. But I could do what I'm doing here, which is just, click through them, or I could come through after people have submitted. I could select these slides, and I could then unskip slides. And then as I continued on my slideshow, you could see I would have these different answers come in. So this is how we can build this with the script. Now let's go back to this page here, and I'm going to just, while I'm on this page, I'm going to get my phone out, and I'm going to show, I'll turn on recording on my phone here real quick. Yeah, and I'll do a recording of this and insert it. So I'm opening the camera app on my iPhone, pointing it at the QR code, opens up the form. I can go ahead and quickly type in my name. I use swipe typing, and go ahead and type my answer very quickly. And when I get done, go ahead and submit. And there we are. So I made a recording on my phone. Let's take a look here and see. Yep, I can see Susan's has come in. We're coming in with something wrong with my answer here, so I do have to check that. Tom, it's okay. George, I think so, but let's double check and see why this part of it is not bringing in as we would expect. So in order to go back to this slide and take a look at how to make your QR code, I actually just did that really quickly on the response sheet where we're collecting all of the form responses. And what I did with that is just went and got the view form. In other words, I went ahead and grabbed this URL, which is right here, that bztog/view form, and I just pasted that. You can see that right there, pasted that in. And then I used this formula here, the image formula using the https googlecharts.com, how you can make encode a URL and turn it into a QR code right in your Google Sheet. And then I was able to take that and take a screenshot of that, and then with the screenshot of that I was able to put it in here. And now the audience can use that that screenshot, that QR code, to open the form, submit the form from their seats, and as you can see, we end up with a new one. So let me just, I'm on my phone again. You can watch this real quick. I'm going to submit something new, a new person here, maybe Larry. We got Larry coming in now saying hi, is all he's going to say. I submit, and we should see there's Larry saying hi. I just did that from my phone. So it's a super handy way to have participation with the audience. It's only 10 lines of code. We do have to find, we went over this is an important step, you do have to find the slide ID or the presentation ID. Again, quick reminder, that's everything after this // and before the /edit. It's all of that. And then we have to go to the actual slide and grab the ID of the slide that we want to duplicate. And then the rest of the information is there. Hope this is helpful.